Hello there guys, welcome to Thule Air Base and welcome to the Just Flight Piper Arrow version 3 or Piper Arrow 3. Now this aircraft is my absolute favorite GA aircraft or X-plane at the time of this recording. They've just released the turbo version of this and I'm really excited to get that. But this is going to be a full review of this aircraft. We're going to do a little bit of a flight around this beautiful scenery, which I'll talk about as well. And I'd like to draw your attention to the incredible detail of this aircraft and the amazing textures and reflections that are modeled. It really is a work of art. Let me just speed up the spinning around here. Look at the attention to the gears, the blade. Every aspect of this aircraft is modeled with an incredible amount of care and attention to detail, and really that's not just limited to the way it looks, it's also the way it handles, the way it sounds. Just about everything is just modeled with absolute the highest levels. It really is. In fact, I would go so far as to say that you could compare this aircraft to the aircraft that A2A make in terms of their detail and fidelity. It really is that good. It's so convincing. It has become my favorite GA aircraft in X-plane. Let's jump into the cockpit. And where you can obviously see the incredible lighting. The ambience in here is really good. The modeling, the texturing, the fact that it's a very well used aircraft and they've gone to the effort of putting that detail in as well. Very, very cool. The carpet, it all looks amazing. Now let's open up this menu here. Now this is cool. We have a lot of different options that we can go through. This will open the door. Obviously the door in a Piper aircraft is on the right hand side. A little bit annoying getting in, but there we go. So really nice animations. That opens the cargo door. The next button will open the GPS. In this case it's the X-plane 530. Very, very good. This will get rid of any scratches and details on the windshield. And this will take away the reflections on the dials and the gauges. This is our internal light. This is our autopilot pop-up, which is really, really cool, very easy to use. This will change millibars in the altimeter. This button here is basically you have to switch the fuel from the left tank to the right tank every 10 minutes. But this button will simulate doing it automatically or doing it manually, depending on what you want to do. This is our fuel refill. There you go, left and right balance, and you can balance this out. You can also recharge the battery, and you can keep an eye on how much you're fouling the spark plugs. Now, this will lead to engine failure if you don't keep on top of this, so I suggest you always keep lean on the ground and use proper procedures for that. Otherwise you'll end up with a nasty surprise. This button here, the next one is the fuel weight and balance, and it's the native X-plane way of doing that. This gives you quite granular control over the sound, master volume, avionics, gyro, pump, and again you can use your mouse wheel to control that, which is really nice. Radio, environment, and UI, all good stuff. This button will instantly start the aircraft or disengage the aircraft. Here is our checklist. This is a dynamic checklist, so you can actually action these things with clicking on them. Very, very cool. Here is our flight computer, giving us lots of information: outside air temperature, gusts of wind, endurance, range, and blah blah blah. Crosswind component, headwind. Very, very cool. You can do fuel burns and things like that. Let's just reset that. Very cool. This is our logbook using the native X-plane logbook there. And ground handling, again native. I'm not sure why you would want to use ground handling on a GA aircraft, but anyway, it's there if you need it. And then chocks and tie downs, which we can't do because technically the aircraft is started. This is now in the off position apart from power. Now if we click this again, it will start the aircraft. I've noticed it's actually, as well as that, it's moved us to start location, so just be aware of that. Okay, so with that being said, let's release the brakes and let's taxi on out to the runway. Now I'm just going to lean out so we don't mess up our spark plugs. Yeah, like I said, this scenery is absolutely huge. This covers Greenland, parts of Canada, and obviously the Arctic Circle. So very, very extensive. It's called the Grand Arctic Circle Scenery. It's available in the org store. I'll put a link in. It really is quite something. Just make sure I've got my lights on. I think I'll turn my cockpit lights on for the gauges. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to turn... Now we'll keep that off for now. Okay, that's good. So yeah, I'll basically going to be doing a new series using this scenery, so that's coming pretty soon. Really excited to do that because there's such a huge area to explore. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Listen to those sounds of the aircraft shaking as we taxi along. Absolutely beautiful. Now, interestingly, this aircraft, if you've seen my videos before, you will know that I do quite a bit of flying out of Connington, which is otherwise known as Peterborough Business Airport. It's a tiny airfield, concrete runway, and this is actually the aircraft that's stationed there. The Piper Arrow is this aircraft, so it's very cool. I haven't actually flown it. My flight instructor has, and he's had a go on this, and he gives it his seal of approval, so that's good enough for me. But yeah, so it's quite funny that I'm flying a virtual aircraft that is modelled on an aircraft that is actually at the airfield where I fly from. So it's pretty cool. Let's just come around here. So we'll put some flap out. Very, very cold outside, obviously, but as you can see, beautiful clear skies. There's not much of in the way of wind, so we're all fine there. And of course, no icing issues because of the lack of clouds. Okay, so we're pretty much good to go. We've been given clearance, so we'll do a rolling takeoff, and I want you to pay attention to the beautiful, beautiful sounds of this aircraft as we spool up the engine here. Okay, so here we go. And there's 70 knots, and we are airborne. Positive rate. And flaps up. Absolutely incredible sounds. And that's not the sounds of the aircraft, that's the sounds of my daughter. Hope you don't mind. She's pretty chilled out at the moment, so I'm hoping there's going to be no screaming. If there is, I might have to cut the video. But yeah, it just means this is the first video that I've done with her kind of in the room, and I've got a very close mic, so I'm hoping it's not picking up too much. If this works, it kind of means I can get more material out, because she's just happy chilling and playing around. So if it gets too annoying, then obviously I'll cut those bits out. So the flight dynamics of this aircraft are absolutely just glorious. Everything feels like it should, and this is really coming from my flight instructor, because like I said, he's actually flown this aircraft in real life, which is pretty fun. Let's come off the throttle a little bit, bring the RPM back. But yeah, an absolute joy to fly, very, very smooth, and just an absolute pleasure. Let's just pop outside and have a wee look. Ah, look at those textures. Inside and out, absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. Now I've got the wrong view set up here. Let me just go to circle view. We'll come in a little bit. Oh, not that much. There we go. Now the way the light reacts against the metal there, absolutely beautiful. What a glorious screen image that is, with Thurley in the background. Just glorious. Talk about eye candy. Those reflections, oh my word. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Very, very beautiful aircraft. Let's Let's jump back in. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to fly over to, whoops, what you can see in the distance here. Now, let's get rid of the mouse there. What this is a radar facility that pretty much protects the eastern seaboard from missiles, and it monitors the area. So it's a pretty important place. And it's pretty cool that they've modelled it in. So we'll just do a quick flyby and just double check that everything looks safe, and thus protecting the eastern coast of the United States. So you've got to do your bit. Really love the textures below, the icy textures. It's not something I've done a lot in with X-Plane because of the lack of seasonal textures, so it is always a real treat to get some scenery that really depicts it well. And here we are coming up on the radar facility here. All looking good, tip-top shape, so I think we're safe for the time being. So we'll just cut the corner a little bit and we'll head out towards the estuary here, which is iced over, as you can see. Look at the way the sun is bouncing off of those hills in the distance. Absolutely beautiful. That's brought to you by X-Enviro, by the way. It's a shame there's no clouds, because it really is a beautiful thing. But yeah, but it does change the atmospheric conditions and lighting and light scattering, so it does have an effect. In fact, if I turn it off, you'll see. There we go. So without it, I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just a bit more flat. There's a richness that comes with the X-Enviro thing. It's not for everyone, but I like it. There we go. And it's just re-rendering everything in there. Absolutely beautiful. It does amazing things to the reflections on the water. And if you can see that ahead, you've got blue at the forefront, and then as you go back, you've got a greeny kind of colour. Really nice, really nice. Okay, so we will fly back over towards Thurley, or Thuley. Not quite sure how you pronounce it. And we'll have a look at the town. And we have some boats in this little harbour here. There's a little marina or port at the end, and yeah, there's lots of little objects that just kind of make you think, yeah, there's so much work, attention to detail has gone into making the scenery. Really cool. Absolutely beautiful lighting there, I have to say. Keep meaning to get that iceberg plug-in, check that out, because obviously in a place like this, it would be nice to see. There are some icebergs modelled, obviously, but I'll be interested to see what that plug-in does. I think I might get it and do a review of it. Okay, what I'm going to do is just increase the lighting a bit, just so you can see it in different sort of light. And there we go. Those textures really, really coming alive. The snow textures are extremely well done. And yeah, let's just have a pop outside, see the texturing against the aircraft now that the sun is fully out. Absolutely goddamn gorgeous. Stunning. Absolutely jaw-dropping. I love it when two things come together in such a beautiful way. That's what this simulator is all about, in my view. Ah, amazing, amazing, amazing. Whoops. Alright, so we will cut the engine, not turn it off, but go to idle, start our descent. We've got quite a fierce descent now, because we're relatively high. And yeah, the sound modelling on this aircraft is also very, very good. I'm not paid to say these things, just so that you know, but I was given a copy of this aircraft, and quite frankly, I would have paid for it. I would have paid the amount for it as well, because it's absolutely superb. And I don't have to say that. I really don't. Alright, we'll go gear down, so just to stop that warning, and listen to the way the air flow changes. You can hear it, you can feel it in the aircraft as the gear goes down. Absolutely amazing and very, very true to real life. Whoops. And yeah, that's what we like. Alright, we'll go stage a flap, and we'll try and increase this descent a little bit. A little bit uncomfortable for our passengers, but they're okay. If they can deal with this cold weather, they can deal with a steep approach. Just zoom out a little bit, that's better. Alright, there's the hangars. We'll sort of aim for that direction, and then we'll turn on to final. And we'll go another stage of flap. Everything you do, obviously, in this aircraft in terms of the gear, anything changing the configuration affects the way it flies. And for you real world pilots out there, you know that that's exactly what you would expect. For some other GA aircraft that's available in X-Plane, that's not really the case, or it's not detailed enough in my view. But this has got it nailed, and that was pretty much what my flight instructor said as well. So and he should know, because he's flown the actual aircraft, which is pretty damn cool. Okay, a few little gusts of wind here, nothing too crazy, but it's increased a bit since we took off. But that's all right. Got a huge runway here, so perfect speed coming in at just over 70 knots. We could probably do with a little bit slower, but that's all right. We won't disrupt the rate of descent, which is pretty bang on, 400 feet a minute. A little bit of a flare, power off, and he's floating it down. Oh dear, not very good at all in terms of the landing. Apologies, but never mind, we're down. Let's clean up. Flaps up, and again, as soon as you hit the runway, which is what we did there, very, very hard landing, you do hear the rattling and the shaking of the cockpit, which is really, really nice, and it's done very well. It's not overdone, and of course as you slow down, the intensity of that decreases. Incredible shadows going across the cockpit there. Beautiful. This thing is an absolute piece of art, it really is, and like I said, I'm not paid to say that. That's just how I feel about it. It really is. So I really hope that Just Flight and Thoranda get together and do more aircraft, because it's a total winning combination. And I'm just blown away by this. Absolutely superb. And anybody who's got this, I'm sure you will agree. If you don't agree, if you're not happy with it, let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to know what it is that you don't like about it. But are there any quirks that you've found? I haven't found any. And I'm a bit of a stickler for detail. So I'd be interested to know if you found any weird quirks. But for me, this thing is pretty much perfect. And I very rarely say that. So here we are back at Thule Air Base, and I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Let's just have another wee looky out at this beautiful aircraft as we come to an end. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed making it, and happy to answer any questions about either the aircraft or the scenery, and I'll put links in the description to both. Can't wait to start this new series. I'm undecided as to what aircraft to use, but this is a contender, and it's very high up on the list. And yeah, let me know if you want me to fly a particular aircraft in this area. It's a toss-up between this and the Kodiak. But let me know if you've got an aircraft that you want me to fly during this scenery, which I'm going to call Arctic Adventures. And with that said, thank you for tuning in. Really do appreciate you being here, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon. Cheers, guys.